All right. Hey guys, Jules here, and I am here today on Dropping Jules with Tracy Koa. Hey Tracy, how are you today?
I'm so good, Jules. Thanks for having me. I am really excited.
I am super excited too. I know it's been a while. We've been trying to connect, and it's been a whirlwind for both of us this year in
Yeah,
2025. You with your move and everything, and just everything
yeah.
going on. So we're gonna dive in and kind of get our audience to know you a little bit. So let's get
Love
started.
that.
Tell us a little bit about you, your background, where you're from. We'll start with that.
Yeah. Born and raised in New Jersey, which most people don't know
I don't know
because
that.
right, most people don't know that I'm an East Coast Jersey girl, which is where if you do know me on a personal level, you know I'm super sassy. That's where the sass comes
Sassy comes from, okay, to Jersey.
from.
Okay.
And then but I moved to California when I was about 15, and then I moved to Hawaii when I was 18. And I went back and forth between the two for a long time,
Hmm.
but settled in Lake Tahoe mostly in my adult life and got into education. I really just kind of fell into it. I loved kids. And so I got my license and I taught early childhood education for a good chunk of my career,
Hmm.
ran preschools and oversaw programs and whatnot. And then when I had a kiddo, I decided, well, I better go back to school and become an elementary school teacher so I could harass her and follow her through her school career,
I'm sure she loved
which is what I
that.
did. What's that?
I'm sure she loved that.
She actually did. It's so, man, I'm so grateful. I have the coolest, most amazing kid. She's 19 now.
Love it.
And at the time, yeah, there were times she didn't love it. I tried to be really respectful, but as she got older, she was like, wow, this is really cool. Like you're around and you know what's going on, and my friends know you. And I taught high school for a while while she was in high school. And
Hmm.
we have different last names. So I would say to her, you do not have to tell anybody that you know me. Nobody needs to know.
Yes.
And probably like a couple weeks in,
They-
she was like, is it okay if I tell people? I was like, well, yeah. I was like, what have you? So yeah, so she did love it. So, yeah, spent most of my career as a teacher, educator in administration, did some work at some educational nonprofits, but all within the education realm.
Educational realm. Is that something that you always want to do? Like, how did you get started in that?
No, it's a funny thing. I grew up wanting to be a marine biologist, which ironically is what my daughter is going to school for.
Oh my gosh.
But I grew up in a really rough household. Like as far as like just my dad was just no nonsense, right? And he was like, the hell you're going to be a marine biologist. You can become a lawyer and
Mhm.
work for like a company that is into marine biology, but you're not becoming a marine
Oh wow.
biologist.
Okay.
And long story short, I left home at 15 and oh, I just bounced around, did all kinds of crazy things. But I settled in Lake Tahoe
Hmm.
and I don't know why I just took this early childhood class. I don't know, probably sounded easy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Liked kids, like I'd nannied and babysat all that stuff. And there was a woman there who ran an early childhood center at one of the ski resorts, but like one that was really far out of the way.
Hmm.
She came up to me after class one day. She goes, you're perfect for the daycare at Kirkwood, which is a ski resort. And she goes, so after school one day next week, I want to drive you up there because it
Okay.
was like 45 minutes away from South Lake Tahoe. So I was like, all right. So I drove up there and I can't even tell you like the most stunning place. It's
Mm.
at like low elevation, 7,500 feet, mountains everywhere, mountain lakes. And I was like, sure, why not? And it it was one of those things that changed my life in every capacity you could
Mhm.
never imagine. Worked at this little daycare center, met one of my best friends who taught the elementary school, met my other best friend who I've known both of these gals 35 plus years now,
Mhm.
and ended up meeting my ex-husband who is a doll, had my daughter. I lived there for 25 years.
Mm.
So isn't that crazy? Like it's
It
so
is.
crazy. I could have said no. I could have been like, you're a crazy lady. I don't know you. I'm not getting in your car and driving 45 minutes.
Right, right.
Yeah. Isn't that
That,
crazy how
that
it just,
one that one decision, like how it's changed. Wow,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. All right, so
Yeah.
so Lake Tahoe, you're there. Then what?
Yeah.
What was next for Tracy?
Yeah. So I was married about 17 years and We did go back and forth between Hawaii a bit, and we were living in Hawaii when my daughter was little. And my ex-husband just he didn't love it, right? So he
Hmm.
left. And that was really tough. That kind of created like hurt for me, you know. But I get it. Like he still works at the same ski resort, right? That he worked at
Hmm.
way back when I met him. And now he runs it, right? Which is super
It's
cool for my
awesome.
daughter to see like you can live your passion
Mhm.
and like do your thing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so we ended up getting divorced. So we came back from Hawaii, got divorced. I moved to the Sacramento area because that's where his parents lived.
Hmm.
And I couldn't afford to live in Lake Tahoe. So there was that. Like got
Yeah,
divorced,
God for,
have a
yeah,
job.
no, right.
I was a stay-at-home mom, didn't have a job. Like,
Mhm.
okay. So moved to Sacramento, lived there for a long time. Um, and then my daughter was getting ready. She was in middle school, and the high schools are really, they're like big in Sacramento.
Hmm.
And I just thought, oh my gosh, my sweet little girl is not, she's just like the sweetest, kindest little thing. I'm like, she's gonna get eaten alive, right?
Hmm.
So I knew friends in Oregon, was dating somebody who had lived in Oregon. So I'd been back and forth a lot. And so one day I was like, I'm just gonna go check out the schools.
Hmm.
And just small, amazing, intimate. And so I made this crazy decision to like
Leave.
leave California, move to Oregon. Um, and it was like just amazing for my daughter.
Oh my
Absolutely amazing.
gosh.
She had the
Yeah.
best high school experience, met amazing people. She met her wonderful boyfriend, Javier. They are have been together all of high school. They're
Oh
both
my
in
God.
college. Like so yeah,
Uh,
but I took time off after I got divorced because I had been a stay-at-home mom for a while. But I did manage to finish my kindergarten through high school
hmm.
credentials. So I did a lot of substitute teaching, took a job at a nonprofit, gave me some flexibility.
Love it.
Got to Oregon, did some subbing, and then got into a couple administrative roles and
Hmm.
into the classroom again. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Love it. I love that you moved around, and I love that you considered your daughter and everything. So moving from the big, Sacramento to Oregon, I mean, a small community, so it's
Yeah.
tight knit, and then she's
Yeah.
gonna have that family. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So tell
Yeah.
us,
Thank you.
how did you get started in real estate? So, there had to be a shift, and this is what we talk about
Yeah.
here on Dropping Jules Real Estate. So,
That's right. We're all about the real estate game. Yep.
mhm.
So I was teaching. We had a couple really like back to back rough things that happened in our life. My mom had metastatic breast cancer, but we didn't
I'm
know
sorry.
it until it was too
Mhm.
late. And so I brought her home. She lived near Lake Tahoe. I brought her home to Oregon on hospice. She passed away,
So
which
sorry.
was really, if you've ever had a family member in hospice in your home, it is,
Hmm.
man, it's really tough. I
Hmm.
was working now. I took a long-term substitute teaching job, so I was working.
Hmm.
And then we had a wildfire come through our community, and it
Gosh.
was beyond devastating. We lost our home. We had just bought a new home that we'd remodeled, getting ready to move into. We'd lost that home. And then like 90%, maybe 85% of my students lost their home.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Right. So now I'm showing up every day, and you've got to show up for these kids, right? And they have,
Mhm.
and when I say nothing, this came in through our community fast,
Wow.
fast, fast. People died in their homes because they didn't get
Oh.
out. People left, you couldn't even go back. It happened so quick. If you were not at your home, you were not allowed back. So when I say you lost everything, you literally just had the clothes on your back. And so now the kiddos are showing up to school. We have an amazing community there. Everybody came together. I mean, we had within 24 hours, people had clothes and food and all the things.
Hmm.
So anyway, I go back to work. I did a whole year. I did 2 years, 2.5 years really. I
Hmm.
did a whole year back in the classroom. I did an administrative year where I was community liaison and I was out in the community helping families that had been affected by the fire. I didn't realize at the time how hard that was on me.
Mm.
It really, truly was. I was so grateful we had some money in the bank. We were able to go buy a RV to live in while we figured out our next steps. That wasn't the case for most families, right?
Right,
A lot of
right.
mobile home parks burned down. As we know, if you own a mobile home or if you own a manufactured home, often you don't have
You don't have
insurance. You own it
insurance.
outright. You're
Yeah.
trying to save some money. You don't have insurance. So families lost everything. And then then the third, so I couldn't do that anymore. I did a year and I was like, I can't emotionally do this. So then I took a job.
Uh-oh.
Here my emotional state is heightened. What do? I take a job in the continuing education classroom. This is where the kiddos are living on the street, in foster care, on parole, coming out of drug addiction. So nothing easy.
Nothing easy. No, with you, I've learned nothing's easy. So
Nothing's
yeah,
easy. Right.
yeah,
I'm
right.
trying to learn how to take a different path, and we'll talk
We'll
about
talk
that.
about that. Yeah.
So, about halfway through that school year, I had lost a ton of weight. I felt horrible, which usually, like, losing weight has not been easy for me. And it's a thing usually where I'm like, yes, I lost weight. I couldn't keep weight on. I was just
Wow.
down like 30 something pounds less than I weigh right now. I mean, I was like, went to the doctor and he's like,
Whoa.
well, we need to test your blood. He was worried I was really sick. Well, I was sick from stress. And
Yes.
so he's like, you're taking a month off work. And any teacher listening to this knows you're like, no, 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 no. I
You're
couldn't
not.
possibly take off the kids, the kids, the kids. He goes, look, you're going to be dead. There's no, so you can not gonna be able to help the kids. He goes, if you don't take off, I'll just go ahead and call the school and let them know that you are not allowed to come back to work.
Right.
So I took off, I had a 30-day leave. And about 2 weeks in, I'm bored. I'm like going crazy.
Crazy.
And I'm scrolling through Instagram. Of course, Instagram knows that I don't have a job right now, that I have time off work. And all the ads are work from home, work from home, work from home. And then I must have clicked on a real estate one. My dad was a real estate investor, ironically. Never followed his footsteps, never asked him a question about real estate. And so now I'm getting all the real estate and I'm clicking on some of them. One, of course, was Pace Morby.
Mhm.
And I ended up joining a mentorship, not our community, Pace's community, but a mentorship just for the hell of it, right? It was still during this time. And I was like, let me see what this is about. Well,
Sure, sure.
I did like the 1999 weekend course, and then
Mhm.
I fell for it. And I did the big, took out money from the savings. And within 2 weeks, I realized I don't want to go back to the classroom. I saw how my body was feeling better, my nervous system
Mhm,
settled,
mhm.
and it was really clear that I was just, I
The
was done,
stress,
right?
yeah.
Just
Hmm.
wasn't. And so here I am, single mom, jobless, put about 20K down from the savings.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, you better get your shit together because what are you like? What are you going to do?
Right, right.
So here it is. I'm a real estate investor, apparently.
Whether you want to believe it or not, you spend that 20K.
That's right. I still didn't believe it yet. Now I know it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got into the Women's Real Estate Network that we're both part of.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
from there, so tell us how you got into Faith. Like how long after did you get into
Yeah. I mean, the Women's Real Estate Investing Network was fantastic. I met
a
amazing
lot of
people. I
people?
don't know that we met through there,
We
but
did.
met amazing women. Met one of my dearest friends, Pam Mullen.
Mhm.
And Pam and I met through Reen, and we were kind of going through the things, and we just felt like together we kind of needed something a little bit more. We wanted a
Mhm.
broader community.
Mhm.
We loved being part of the women's network and being able to really lean into other women, but we also wanted to broaden. And so we had both seen Pace's crazy ads and all the things.
Yeah.
And I think because of being in the women's network and having what felt like a safer transition, by the time I was ready for Pace, I was ready for Pace. I don't
You
think if
were,
I
right.
joined him at first, he would have really
Mhm.
overwhelmed me. So Pam and I joined together, and that just like blew our minds,
Yeah.
really blew our minds that the resources are endless. The Zooms are endless.
My gosh. Yes.
It's the community is endless. The networking is endless. You will never in your life, you could spend 10 hours a day just diving in and you'll still
Yeah.
never in your life get through it all. Yeah.
Great. Fire
Yeah.
hose effect was so much. What
Yeah.
year did you join? Sub two, right? Or Gator? Like, what did you
Yeah,
join?
I'm in Gator Sub 2 and Owners Club. I joined Sub 2 3 years, probably right about now. Gator joined again with Pam about a year later.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
So we met where in Sub two or Owners Club? Oh, Squad Up. I don't
I
remember.
can't remember. It seems like a blur because you've
I
been
know. I think it
in
was Squad Up.
Sub
I think
2
it was
about as
Squad
long
Up.
as I have. I think it was Squad Up.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
24, 24.
24. I
Yeah,
think you're right.
probably
Yeah.
Orlando. Okay. So joining Sub 2, so tell us a little bit about your experience in Owners Club and how that's different from your experience since you've been in Sub 2 Owners, I'm sorry, Sub 2 Gator and Owners Club. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry for my audience listening, for your new newbies out there. Sub 2 is a real estate department, basically, or group, or community for PACE's world. And then there's Gator, which is a lending part, and then you have Owners Club. So I'll let Tracy talk about her experience.
Yeah. Right. So, I was Pam and I did a lot together. We kind of partnered up and we were, just kind of dove into all the things. We really didn't know yet what we wanted to focus on. Pam
Hmm.
had done a flip, didn't love it. I had done flips before getting in real estate just because I like to decorate, right? I was
I
like,
can
this would
tell
be so fun.
I love your background. I love it. Look,
Oh,
look at
thanks. Oh, yeah, look at the cat.
freaking,
The
yeah,
cat never comes around unless I'm doing a podcast. It's great.
I love it.
Yeah. So we knew we didn't really want to do a flip. We started learning about multifamily. One of the things we learned really quickly was we were not really great underwriters. And so we spent a
Hmm.
lot of time practicing underwriting. Because my thought is if you don't know how to underwrite, you
Hmm.
shouldn't be investing in real estate. And I meet
Agreed.
people still today, and that's like my first question when they're like, oh, can you help with this or that? I'm like, how are you with underwriting? Yeah, I don't really. I'm like, here's what you're going to do.
Hmm.
Every day you're going to pick a property. Doesn't matter where it is, Zillow, Redfin, something someone brought you, something you see on Facebook. You're going to underwrite it. Then you're going to hop on a Zoom and at least one or two a week with all the properties and you're going to get some feedback.
I love
And then
that.
come back and let me know. Like, let's talk in a month, right?
Hmm.
Because you can't. So we spent a lot of time underwriting. We practiced. We looked at multifamilies.
Hmm.
We looked at co-living. We looked at apartment buildings, all the things. And the funny thing that we kept coming back to was lending. And we were really interested in learning about raising capital. Pam and I were both we love people. We love chatting with people. We were very personable. And we realized we were building all these relationships. And not that you're building them to monetize on them.
Hmm.
However, it's if you have them and the people are looking to invest, why wouldn't you try to work together and
Work
figure out
together.
a way
Sure.
to support each other? We're both monetizing on the
Hmm.
relationship. And so that's why we decided to join Gator. And we spent at this point, I would say 75% of our time on Gator, the other 25 multifamily, small multifamily. And so we're doing our thing in Gator, and we became very, very knowledgeable on the underwriting.
I love that.
Pamela has a background that's really given her the skills to be kind of like a super sleuth, which she is, man. And so we were holding weekly Zooms for women private money investors. We were helping people review, their private money loans. We
Hmm.
were
Hmm.
consulting, and we really, truly were doing the thing,
Yeah.
but we weren't making enough money to live.
Mm.
So we're at Squad Up the year we met, you and I met, and the pitch for Owners Club came. We didn't even listen. We literally, like, we heard the first couple lines, like a lot of us, and we looked at each other. We're like, this is what we need to take our business to the next level.
Love that. Hmm.
So we ran up there and we got ourselves registered right away. And within the first couple months, our first assignment essentially was, what's your Mount Everest? What's your like 5-year goal? And as we went through, we came together one day and it was really hard. Like I was afraid to tell her, she was afraid to tell me. And we kind of said at the same time, like, I don't want to do this. Like this is not what I want to do in 5 years.
Hmm.
I enjoy it. It's good
Right.
for like active income for now, but we both wanted to do something more that helped people,
I love that.
help the broader community. And so we had to pivot and shift. And like a lot of us, we went through different ideations of what could it look like together,
Hmm.
what could it look like separate. And at the end of the day, we decided to kind of go our own way around our Mount Everest
I
because
love
they were different, right? And you can't force that kind of thing,
I know.
right? But I'll tell you what, that woman is amazing, and I love her
I love
so
Pam.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to go part ways after you've spent so much time together and you've built
Mhm.
something together. And I'm just so grateful for her and just she was so gracious and we had a good like business split and
Yeah.
we're still good
Yeah,
buddies.
buddy.
So,
Yeah. I want to pause here and for anyone that's listening that is an owners club this year and you're forming partnerships with people, keep that in mind. There's going to come a time when, you change your Mount Everest. It's meant to be to change. Yeah,
yeah,
it could be the same, but don't stress if it's something and you find yourself pivoting and that original partnership doesn't work. You can move. I mean, t Tracy and Pam, they're a living testimonial to this.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I think, a couple I'd love to touch on that because
Hmm.
partnerships are really huge and Pace says it all the time. You're going to have a partner today that you're not going to have next year. And it is true. You go through partnerships.
Hmm.
I think a few things that I would share with people that I've learned is be patient and give it time
Hmm.
before you form an entity, perhaps, right? I'm
Hmm.
not saying don't do that, but you have options. You can create a JV agreement and
Hmm.
you could kind of see how things go. My dear friend Kristen, we're putting together a workshop and we had the option. We talked through like, do we create an entity? Do we do a JV agreement? And we were like, you know what? We love each other. We know this is going to be awesome and we're going to have a blast together, but we don't need like a full-on business right now. Let's just do a JV agreement. It's simple. You can
Hmm.
have an attorney draft one. If you've never had a JV agreement, I highly recommend get an attorney, have them draft your first one
I
at
love that.
least, so that you can see what it should really look like. And you can ask questions. That's the other thing. Often there's a lot of great documents, don't get me wrong, in the Subto folders, but I like to see what it looks like from an attorney, and then I can ask questions. And now I get it. So then if I want to use that template moving forward, I know what it actually means, right? Don't just
Right.
sign the thing and be like, oh yeah, yeah, I got this in the vault and like it's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
But so I think there's so many ways to do partnerships. That way you can take your time. There's something to be said for personalities through the
Hmm.
seasons of the year, right?
Sure.
We're different. I'm different in the winter. I'm not gonna lie. I don't love the winter. I'm not a winter gal.
Yeah.
I'm like a different woman in the summer than I am
Mhm.
in the winter. So get to know me all year long before you
Yeah.
partner with me.
I love that. And for those listening, it's very sound advice. Start with a JV. We've learned and I've had different partners and we just do JVs. There's some that you do an LLC with and you can always, change the operating agreement and everything, but why? If
Right.
just start with a JV and very
Yeah.
great advice. If it's your
Yeah.
first time, have a lawyer review it. We're not attorneys or
Yeah.
anything and in the vault, in the Sub-2 vault, there are documents there, but I would definitely have your lawyer review it. So thanks, Trace.
Yeah. We've partnered on a deal before. That was
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, that was
That was
uh,
fun.
that was fun. That was fun. A lot of learning. Each experience is different, and you learn so
Yeah.
much from it, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah. So much
So
learning.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Not just from that, but from every project.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So okay, so you're working on. We were talking about a 5-year goal. Okay, so you and Pam, you decide to split up.
Yep. Yep.
What's happening in your world now?
Yeah, well, so Pam and I were both very interested, as I said, in multifamily and in co-living. And for me, when I shifted, I knew, just like Pam, I wanted to have a goal that was more than just raising money, earning money, making
Mm-hmm.
money.
Mm-hmm.
I have had some challenges in my life. We all have, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
Mine revolved around housing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what it feels like to not know where you're going to sleep tonight. And it puts you're in fight or flight mode all
Mm-hmm.
the time. Your cortisol levels are through the roof. You're not making good choices. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you that from a personal perspective. We see homeless people and we think, oh, they're crazy and they're this and they're that. Some do have mental health issues. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are just making very poor choices because they're living in this fight or flight, heightened cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not capable of making good choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then maybe you do have mental illness from the trauma that maybe caused you to be homeless, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a mess. But so I knew that I wanted to be involved in some sort of like affordable housing.
Sure.
So I spent about the last year really just 100% dove into co-living. I wanted to make sure that I really understood it well enough to not only be successful in having my own co-living properties, building a strong co-living portfolio, but
Mm-hmm.
more importantly was teaching other people how to
Yes.
do this. Because if you're able to house 10 people in one home or eight
Mm-hmm.
people in one home, I want to teach other people how to do that because we're going to knock down, the homeless issue and affordable housing quicker that way.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's really what I have spent the last year since Pam and I kind of went our own ways. And it's been great. I've had some great successes. It's been super fun. I have 5 projects
Mm-hmm.
where we've raised capital with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say about 125-ish investors overall. I helped
Wow.
raise over $2 million in a
Oh,
6 month period.
congrats. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm just excited that those people are partnered on projects with me. They're interested in supporting affordable housing. They did support affordable housing by investing in the project. And many of them are interested in learning, how can I do this myself? So that's been really just such a blessing. So fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
love I love how you've taken your world life experiences and turned it around to help others because like you know firsthand what it felt like, right? So one, I mean, you've went through so much and I'm so sorry for your mom, hearing about your mom
Thank you. Yeah.
dealing with loss and then dealing with your mom passing away and then having to deal with your home, where you grew up and well not so grew up but you had so much memories there,
Yeah.
losing that, and people lost their lives and how much with the experience that you have that you can turn around and go into like it's amazing, like God is works so awesomely that he
Yeah.
puts you right back in to go help the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
know. I'm so
that is
fortunate.
just, yes.
Really, truly fortunate that I had those opportunities because it was able to help me shift my perspective.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was very hard. Losing my mom, losing any parents, really hard. We had a
Mhm.
tough relationship, her and I. So it was even harder to lose that person, especially if you haven't worked through all the
The
things, which we
things, right.
have, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so that was hard. And I was really, that only happened in June and the fire was in September.
Oh, so
So I
same
was,
year. Oh my God.
oh yeah, just months apart. Right. Let me
Oh,
like, one of my girlfriends put it so well. She goes, man, she goes, like, can the world just like, can the universe just give you like a little break, just a
a little
little
break.
break? And I was like, I guess not, but it's
Yeah.
all happening for some reason.
Yeah.
So, and I had a kid and I had these students that needed me. So
Hmm.
I'm just so grateful. I've always had within me this pull yourself up by the bootstraps,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I didn't see it that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to be really, really hard on people,
Hmm.
people that had had these rough experiences, but were down and out and like just, putting their hand out for money and like not getting
Yes.
it together. And I used to think,
Like, come
what
on.
the heck is wrong with you? Like, pull it together. I'm so grateful that I've had the ability to learn about empathy and compassion and recognize that I should be super grateful that I have it within me to
Hmm.
just look around and go, get it together, pull yourself up,
Hmm.
show up for people that need you. and move forward. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Love that. I love that, how circumstance makes you understand other people. Like you said, getting, from their point of view. And I think, me going through the loss helped me realize like,
Mhm.
oh, wow, this happens and life happens. And how do you deal with that, right? And you've
Yeah.
taken it that one step further. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
As you too, which is pretty amazing. Yeah.
No, excuse me. I know, I just sneezed. So taking that with the Mount Everest and you're pivoting now to helping others. Tell us about your move and what's going on now.
Right.
Love where you're at. I'm coming to visit. So yeah.
Please, please come visit. Oh gosh. Well, as I mentioned, I'd moved back and forth to Hawaii, in my life, and I lived here when I was in my teens, my late teens. And it's just been really, it's in my heart. Hawaii, when I first came to Hawaii, I was not a teenager yet. I was probably like 10 or 11. And I
Uh-huh.
remember I got off the plane with my parents and I was like, never felt anything like it. Like there was just this energy.
Energy. Hmm.
And I looked at my mom and I go, "Do you feel that?" And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And this is back in the 80s, like you don't talk about feelings, right? So I was like, never mind, right? But it's always been in my heart. And so I'd always said like I'm going to go back, I'm going to go back. And it just didn't work out, right? I have one kid, so it's really easy to put all of my focus on her and
Oh,
which
right.
I did. And so my kiddo graduated high school
Congrats.
June. Thank you. And she decided to go to University of California, Santa Barbara, which is super exciting.
Yes.
And so I had the option of I could stay in Oregon, which is where I was living. I could move back to California, or I could move to Hawaii. And I went through all the things. I even did a little California tour, which is amazing. All my friends, Deanna and Terry and Kristen, all came out and you know, but I decided that at the end of the day, I kept comparing things back to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as I said, I followed my daughter through high school, so I probably didn't need to follow her through college by living close.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I decided I'm making the move back to Hawaii.
I love it.
Yeah, so I had a rental here. I have a couple rentals here, but I had a little studio that I bought several years ago. And so I said to my tenants, I'm thinking about moving back, but I can't kick you out. Like there's nowhere to go, right?
Right, right.
So I said, I'd like to move back in 3 months, but we'll just be open. And they were just so grateful that I'd rented to them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And so fortunately, they were able to find a place within that period of time in the same building that we're in because it's really beautiful location. They
Oh,
wanted to
wow. Yeah.
stay. So just really worked out amazing. But it's been a lot of change. My kid went off to college. Her and I was single mom, so we were buddies, right? Just hanging out together. And then I'd been dating someone for 7 years, and that relationship ended about a year and a half ago. But we owned the house, and so we still lived together
Mm-hmm.
till my daughter graduated. And so that was really final as
Right.
well, right?
Yeah,
That
everything's
was
final.
like, and he's a great guy. We just were going in different ways. And so just all the things like
Uh-huh.
came down one after the other. And during all this, I recognized that you can't do all this. You can't.
Mm-mm.
And I've been grinding. I mean, grinding away,
Uh-huh.
hustling like 16-hour days. I kid you not.
I believe
yeah, 5, 6 days a week, 10, 12-hour days, like all the things, just hustling for almost a year. And I knew like something had to
Don't have to
stop.
give. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I took 2 weeks and I just stepped away for 2 weeks. And I focused on myself and my kid. I got my daughter moved into college and got settled and did my big move. And one of the things that I shared with you before we hopped on is taking that pause made me realize that I don't want to go back to that
Mm-hmm.
type of life.
Right.
I still want to do the things. I still want to raise money. I still want to help. people that want to learn about co-living. I still want to do co-living. I still want to raise capital.
Hmm.
But I realized too, you have so much knowledge, Trace. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you know private money lending really, really well. I
Hmm.
hosted some, classes in the Gator community. I can underwrite PMLs like nobody's business. And I love that. And that brings value to people. I've owned every asset class other than large multifamily and RV parks, but
Hmm.
multifamily, single family, short term, long term, multi-generational, co-living, you name it, done flips. So I thought, oh my gosh, I just have so much to offer. I don't have to stay in one lane, and I also don't have to hustle. I just don't
I
have
love
to.
that.
I could
You
choose
don't.
not to do that. I
No.
don't have
And that's what
to.
it's about, when you make those choices and you
Right.
realize that, and it's so important for us to realize that you don't need it.
No,
Like,
no.
you have your health. Health is wealth as
Health
well.
is wealth.
Mhm.
My daughter's healthy. She's doing well. She's happy. I'm healthy. I'm happy. And I don't, it's interesting. I do a lot of, most of us do, right? We do a lot of visualization and journaling and I've always tried to think big, right? Because everyone's like, think big, think bigger than you've ever thought. And I've never been able to picture myself
Hmm.
in some big home and some big situation. Well, I don't know that I want that.
Right, right.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love cars. I
Hmm.
really love cars. Like I love driving a Mercedes. So I like, don't get me
You gotta
wrong.
have it. You gotta, yeah, you gotta have
I,
something, right?
right. And I'm not saying I don't want to be wealthy. I do, but I'd rather balance my life
Hmm.
and earn a little less. Maybe it takes longer. But if I'm helping other people, if
Hmm.
I'm caring for myself, caring for my family, and taking time for my faith and my belief system,
Hmm.
that's all that matters.
It really is. It really is. And,
Yeah.
I love that you say that. Yeah, you hit on some key things, right? Taking time for yourself. Because
Yeah.
so much, I mean, being a single mom, you were always looking after your daughter. And,
Yeah.
you've done amazing. And now you have to take time for yourself because if you don't take care of you,
Yeah.
number one, who's gonna take care of you?
Right.
Then secondly, once your health goes, you can't. I mean, there are people wealthy, wealthy. Steve Jobs on his deathbed said he wish he had spent more time with the people he loved. He'd
Yes.
always make money. He'd always make
Yes.
money. So you
Yes. I
have,
listened to an amazing interview with him
yeah,
towards the very end of his life. And yeah, yeah, he really focused a lot on that. And it is. It's
yeah.
it's it's really all that matters.
Yeah,
So
that's why I love you so much because we align on a lot of things and purpose over profit and when you are helping others and you've been through that situation so
yeah,
and you've got that compassion, you've got the
yeah,
heart. And I love that about you.
yeah,
So wow.
yeah.
What do you need like for our listeners listening out there? Is there anything you need help with? And how can they reach you?
Well, that's a great question. I am really still kind of figuring out how I want to keep doing what I'm doing, yet pivot a little bit and yet step back.
Mhm.
I am going to start my own office hours-ish called
Great.
KOA Connection.
Ooh,
We're
I
going to
love that.
start, thank you. We're going to start the first week in November 2025.
Hmm.
And it's really about a place for people to come together to talk about all the things, right? I have, like I said, I have a wealth of knowledge in a variety of different areas of real estate. So come and bring your questions
Hmm.
and come to connect, come to get some mindset shifting. Because part of when people bring questions, what I've learned is it's often not a real estate question,
It's not.
it's a mindset
Yes.
shift
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
Because once they can shift that perspective, that real estate question is no longer a question. So I'm excited for that. I feel like that's gonna maybe even kind of help me figure out what path I want to take.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
I'm learning about buying larger multifamily. I was talking to our dear friend Rhea Campbell a couple weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's so cute. She's like, girlfriend, we're done with those small multifamily. I need to see you in 100+ unit multifamily. I'm like,
I love her.
okay.
Yeah.
I got on this call because I wanted your advice, so I'm going to take that. So, if you're listening and you're out there doing larger multifamily or you want to get involved in larger multifamily, let's connect. And I'm also learning about buying businesses because I do
Okay.
think that would be really fun to take a business that somebody's worked really hard to create, but because maybe they didn't have access to all the tools and resources that we
Hmm.
have, they weren't able to grow it to the place that it could get to.
Okay.
And I think it would be really cool to help them get out of that situation or maybe stay if they choose to,
If choose to. Hmm.
but build that up and kind of take their legacy and take it to the next level. I think that would be really fun.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
if you're buying businesses, I would love to be a fly in the wall and provide any support that I can to
Hmm.
you and your team so that I can kind of learn a little bit along the way. So,
Love it. Love it.
and you can
So,
find me at Tracy Koa everywhere,
at
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the places.
all the places.
All the places.
Oh, I love that for you, Troy. So, larger multifamily, business acquisition,
Yes,
and KOA Connect. Oh, I love the KOA Connect.
right.
Is it KK? Like what?
It is. That was
Oh, I love
Deanna.
it.
I was like, can you give me some feedback? And that was one of the things she's like, oh, girl, you
Yeah.
need a K and connect. I was
KK and
like,
Connect.
oh,
Okay,
I
I
sure
can
do.
see that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any last minute advice? So, someone new to real estate,
Yeah.
would you recommend joining Subto?
100%.
Why?
100%. Yeah. Please, if you can make that commitment to yourself and that investment to yourself, I highly, highly recommend it. Be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do not judge your growth against other people. I think that is something I find we all do.
Do.
Once you can step away from that, you're going to find that you're going to be feel better, happier, and probably become more successful.
I love that. I love that. And one last question before we go. When you are, how would you know that you should be joining Owners Club? Like what advice would you give somebody?
Ooh,
Because
such a
everybody,
great
yeah,
question.
not just
Yeah.
FOMO, like I have to join, but what would be?
Yeah. First of all, you need active income. Owners Club is not going to necessarily get you active income. That's not the goal of Owners Club. The goal of Owners Club is to take already have active income because that's how you're paying for Owners Club.
Yes.
And then your next step is why you would join Owners Club is because you have a vision or you, even if it's just a little seed,
Mm-hmm.
Owners Club is going to help you take that vision and grow it. But we're talking about 3, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have anything to do between now and then to make money, you're going to be in trouble. And I've seen a lot of people join just not understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say have a couple deals under your belt. It's quite an expense. I think it's completely worth it. I'm not
Yes.
saying it's like, it's well worth it. But if you're making that commitment and you've not done a deal, take that money, go learn how to private lend, right? Do some
Right,
private
right,
money
right.
loans, right? Or invest in somebody else's project. Get some deals under your belt because you are playing with people at a higher level. You're playing people that have done 10, 15, 20, 50 deals. People like Duran Levy who own, number
Mm-hmm.
one winning hotels.
Hotels. Yeah.
Rhea Campbell, right? All the people are doing the thing. So you want to be able to show up in Owners Club, I think, being able to bring value to the group.
I love that. Oh, wow. I love that you put it that make sure you have the active income. I think that was huge. So,
Huge, huge, huge,
wow.
huge. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure. So many jewels. I
Always.
mean, thank you so much, Tracy, for dropping all these jewels from, you
Uh,
getting started. And one thing that I've always admired about you is you don't have a victim mindset. You've been through so much. We've all had challenges in life. And
yeah.
one thing about you is you persevere. And I love that about you. And I love that
Thank
you share. You have such a big heart. I know I can call you anytime and be like, Tracy, we need to talk.
gosh.
And you're
And
there
I
for
would
me.
be
So
like, let's go, girl.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's go. Let's
let's
go.
go.
So
I love that. Well, you're the same, and I appreciate that as well.
thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. What a
So
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. So audience listening in, so Tracy at Tracy Koa on all platforms.
That's
And
right.
again, multifamily, large multifamily and business acquisition. She would love to help. If you need, I'm telling you, she's amazing. She just looks at stuff and she's able to break it down like nobody's business. She said Pam has that sleuth. I think you do as well. So you don't give yourself credit. I think we all
Thank
are
you.
harder on ourselves. So thank you
Did
so much. We appreciate you. Much love and thanks guys for dropping jewels. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.